The story of Project 5 draws on earlier experiences, both in this program and from this semester. The end result was a grant application designed as a proactive way to eliminate the lack of technology use at an institution. In this instance, the technology use is for a specific discipline, which, as you are about to learn, is something I saw as a necessity for the University of West Georgia's history department. When thinking about Project 5, I look back to previous projects, as they all added to my base knowledge of my institution of choice. That institution is the University of West Georgia. After gathering the necessary data for Project 1, I stepped back to examine potential areas of need at the university. In the end, the graduation numbers and other data gathered for this project had no sway over that final decision. What did point me toward a problem and solution for my grant proposal was Project 2. Talking to professors and a staff member opened my eyes to potential issues to address. Specifically, the history department seemed lacking in technology use. To implement new technologies into the department, prior training for professors would be necessary. Why focus on the history department? Well, I talked to a mass communications professor who had a strong grasp on technology use. This professor oversees radio and television courses, so naturally teaches technology directly to students. On the surface, history professors do not need to pass down technological knowledge to their pupils. But when you consider our program's desire to see changes in classroom culture, what better way to encourage this than to have current professors demonstrate technology use to future educators? Project 3 sealed my decision, as it demonstrated ways the history department can mirror successful schools while where leadership encourages professional training geared towards planned change. In addition to having training for a specific technology, which I decided to be smart tablets, reading case after I decided this after reading case after case in our required text about successful one-on-one tablet or laptop programs at K through 12 institutions and universities. Revisiting my observation that my Project 2 narrator from the Mass Communication Department uses technologies in different ways, decided that history professors need technology learning sessions aimed specifically at teaching their discipline. After all, they are not training radio engineers or television news anchors like my mass communications professor. They are molding historians and future K through 12 and university educators. And since professional development opportunities are learning environments, and our courses drive home the point that many one-size-fits-all teaching philosophies are outdated, then the history department needs to learn how to teach history in the digital age through discipline-specific training. With this goal in mind, I found articles for Project 4's annotated bibliography that focused on tablet use in the classroom, as well as how technology is used in history education. Despite my subpar grade on this assignment, the research was helpful in preparing for the next step of my journey. As I laid out already, I identified an area where discipline-specific training can increase the chances of faculty within a particular department using more technology in the classroom. Through this specified professional development, history professors will know how to teach the historic method with new technologies. Through this, they can reach students in a way that will prepare them for technologically advanced workplaces. And for future educators in these classrooms, there will be a model in place they can follow once they start their careers. With on-campus Wi-Fi and the number of students who likely own smart devices and bring them to class, the use of this technology in history courses seems like a no-brainer. Plus, several of my Project 4 articles prove through case studies that the tools available through smart device applications can have dictionaries, maps, and other research materials on hand. This internet connectivity and having these tools a fingertip away makes smart devices an ideal technology for both educators and students to use in the classroom, regardless of discipline. Another revelation from Project 2 was the presence of a new Center for Teaching and Learning at the University of West Georgia, which regularly offers training sessions for faculty. In a real-world scenario, this would be the perfect partner for the grant project coordinator, which in the case is me, and the history department. The two partners work together already in some capacity, and there are already standards and expectations in place when it comes to faculty training. With no need to lay the groundwork for a partnership, it would presumably be simple to set up the training laid out in my grant proposal. Though the partnership exists, working closely on this project, if grant funds are awarded, will further strengthen the history faculty and Center for Teaching and Learning staff's working relationship. And if this training works, then the history department could serve as guinea pigs for future discipline-specific programming. And the IT department, which presumably works with both the history department and the Center for Teaching and Learning, would also strengthen its partnerships with both. Amid the material already covered are the following goals for this discipline-specific training. Number 1, provide subject-specific technology training that syncs with the current classroom practices of the history department. Number 2, strengthen partnerships between the history department, Center for Teaching and Learning, and IT staff. And third, provide faculty with a base knowledge they can build on through other professional development opportunities. These 3 goals will be built on through the following 5 long-term objectives. Number 1, have faculty add at least one technology-based project or assignment to courses by the following spring semester. So if this training is offered in June 2016, then the technology taught should be integrated into classes by January 2017. Reach all faculty with a full year's experience, including adjuncts, even if additional sessions must be offered later for those who might have missed one of the 3 required meetings. Increase the number of history faculty attending Center for Teaching and Learning programming by the following semester. Improve present use of technology in courses, if applicable. And finally, survey participants in sessions to glean what they learned and retained from the session to improve future sessions. Separate goals will be 3 separate goals were specified for tablet training and implementation. Number 1 is provide the department's professors with tablets during training from the Department of Education. Number 2, serve as an example to other departments considering adopting this technology. And third, provide faculty with a base knowledge they can build on through other PD opportunities. With these goals come 5 specific objectives. First, have faculty add at least one assignment or project utilizing smart device technology to courses by the following spring semester. Second, reach all faculty with at least a year experience at UWG with device-specific training, even if specific sessions must be offered later for those who might have missed one of the 3 required meetings. Third, increase the number of faculty attending IT-based programming by the following semester, specifically training that will help increase or improve smart device use. Fourth, add tablet use to courses already using web technology as soon as possible. And finally, survey participants before sessions about prior knowledge on tablets, and also provide exit surveys to measure what was learned. Obviously, these 2 lists mirror each other a little bit. The wording changes a little some to add tablets, which shows that the base programming in mind can be altered slightly to teach specific devices, to specific hardwares and softwares to the faculty. Training sessions for history department faculty and members of the IT staff would be spread across several summertime sessions, totaling 8 hours. The following tentative schedule shows how the workload will be spread out across sessions. Since 30 professionals are involved and have their own work schedules and personal lives, some flexibility is allowed so anyone who needs to miss the second or third session can still pass the training. And going back to the 30 professionals, since I don't think this has been clarified yet in the video, there'd be 27 history professors meeting the criteria already laid out, and there'll be the capacity to facilitate IT staff that wants to sit in so they can learn not just more about devices, but learn what the history department knows about the devices, making it easy for them to help them. Anyhow, since those are 30 professionals are involved, but in the flexibilities there, faculty will be encouraged to take a device on loan from the Department of Education home and work with it on their own time, attempting to tie its use in with existing lesson plans. That way, they can come armed with specific questions during sessions. For the sessions labeled mandatory, faculty must have written permission to miss one of these sessions and still pass the training course. The first session, which is mandatory, will be 3 hours the first week of June 2016. For this session, faculty members without their own tablet will be issued a device to take home and use throughout the training program. Participants will also be given entry questionnaires. Afterwards, tablet basics will be covered for an hour. The remaining time will be devoted to introducing applications that can be used in a history classroom. In closing, faculty will be encouraged to practice with their tablet over the next week so they can come prepared to ask questions. The optional section 2, which is another 3 hours, the second week of June 2016. Second session will be devoted primarily to answering faculty questions. Additional session time will allow IT and Center for Teaching and Learning staff to address any weak or strong points exposed by the entry-level questionnaires. Faculty will once again be encouraged to come prepared for the next session with questions. Optional session 3 An additional 3 hours, the third week of June 2016. This session will mirror session 2 in many ways, allowing anyone who missed the previous week to catch up. Attendance is optional for those who attended the previous week. Though these 3 hours do not go towards completing the course or paid training for attending the session 2, they can still attend and ask questions. The final mandatory session will be 2 hours on the fourth week of June 2016. Training ends with a simulated 2-hour classroom experience. Facilitated from the Center for Teaching and Learning will teach basic history course in which faculty place students, participating with a lecture on their tablets. Session and program end with the collecting of loaned out devices and the completion of an exit questionnaire. Teachers will get pre-training evaluations that will gauge their knowledge of smart tablet technology. That way, the facilitator and staff can tackle faculty weaknesses and skim over strengths during the sessions. This is necessary due to the limited time frame of these sessions. Post-training evaluations will be designed partly to measure what was learned by professors. Standards for technology use moving forward can be based on what the faculty gained and retained from these sessions. In addition, these surveys can help the Center for Teaching and Learning make necessary changes to better reach other faculty seeking smart device training. For the budget, I asked for $23,500. Bulk of this is $600 stipends for the 27 participating professors. The additional $3,000 fund staff participation, both during the month of sessions and for pre and post session work, such as examining exit questionnaires. An additional $2,000 is the facilitator's pay, which includes pre and post session preparation hours, as well as work completed during the actual program. The remaining $1,300 will feed participants and cover miscellaneous costs, such as application purchases. Frankly, was not sure what to ask for, since there likely are fees and costs in place already for faculty training and staff preparedness. Still, these numbers seem fair. The challenges I see looking back go hand in hand with the challenges that face. If I could resubmit Project 5, I would completely overhaul my capacity segment. That's because I discovered during the peer review process that instead of describing the capacity of the institution to carry out my plans, I need to provide brief profiles of my partners. With the history department chair being one of my interviewees for Project 2, I had enough data about him gathered already to write a detailed profile, mapping out his qualifications. Facilitator from the Center for Teaching and Learning would be necessary for this project to come to fruition, and this individual would need to be profiled. Not to be professional could also be profiled and linked as a program partner. For lack of better words, I messed up when putting together this addendum, but it's not worth being. In previous courses in this program, I've learned how and why technology use lacks in K-12 and university classrooms. Now I have taken that knowledge, identified a way to change a problem, and proactively planned professional development opportunities for college professors. In the process, I have learned more about the University of West Georgia, its in-house professional development opportunities, and the strengths and weaknesses of certain faculty members' technology use and knowledge. With Project 5 ungraded, as of this assignment's due date, I'm anxious to see how I did because of certain elements of the rubric. For example, wasn't sure what to do about the letters for partners. By doing our projects in order, starting one after finishing the other, I did a bulk of my work on the grant proposal during spring break. So it likely would have been impossible to catch my ideal partners in their offices or even via their work email addresses. For future students, I hope there are clear instructions about certain sections of the grant application. As for what I wish I had done differently to clear up this and other concerns, perhaps I should have looked at this assignment thoroughly long before finishing Project 4. That way I might have found time to have letters written for this project. I still would have been a challenge, as like many of you, I enrolled in this program primarily because it would be hard for me to be on campus or in communication with faculty or staff during normal business hours. but at least I would have more peace of mind about this particular required addendum. And knowing early in the semester there'd be a grant application element to this course, I wish I had identified a project sooner than I did. This would have allowed me to link all discussions, projects, and other assignments to my end goal. So I would advise future students that the grant applications can be daunting tasks, so plan ahead. Do not be intimidated by grant proposals, because they are simpler to tackle when. Despite the concerns I have outlined about my grant proposal submission, there are some positive takeaways from Project 5 and this assignment, which has me reflecting back on the highs and lows of my semester. As I have stressed numerous times, I enjoy class discussions that tie in others' professional experiences. Lets me learn about how active teachers relate to our course material and hopefully provides information I can use when I become a college professor. If I was to teach history at West Georgia or a comparable sized institution, all information gained putting together Project 1's infographics, getting answers for Project 2's questionnaires, making comparisons between our textbooks and my institution choice for Project 3, and my fleshing out of professional development programming for Projects 4 and 5 will aid me in the next career as well.